All right, I want to show you another green screen exercise. We're going to layer in some fire and explosions into a scene. So here's the scene. When I play it, you see the explosion, you see the flames coming out, and this is all done with green screen effects. Okay, a little bit, can clean up the mask a little bit there. Let's look at starting this from scratch. Once again, you'll have all these components in your folder, and I'm gonna start from scratch. File, new project. I'm gonna click new composition, make it 1920 by 1080, make the background color blue. Doesn't matter because we're gonna override the background color. And we're gonna import some footage. So we're gonna open up our folder here, and we're gonna get the green screen forest background. And so what we have here is our background green screen. We drop that in, and we're going to resize it. All right. So I've lowered the quality a little bit, but ideally you'd have footage that was 19 by 20, but this is just for demonstration purposes. So it's just the wind blowing through the trees on a country road type of thing, right? Then I have fire. I'll double click and play through this. So I double click, so it's playing through the footage, right? And there's my fire. And then there's also an explosion. All right, let me turn off my speakers, all right? So let's do the fire first. So I'm gonna double click on the fire footage. And I wanna bring up my key light, drop it onto my, well, let's do it this way. Let's go to our composition and drop the fire onto our composition, and then we'll position it where we want it to go. Then we can play through it. All right. And you can see we can resize this, make it bigger, smaller. We can rotate it. I'm going to transform, right? Something like that. Then we're going to turn on a mask. So I'm going to grab my pen tool, and with the layer selected, I'm going to kind of create a little mask around this. And after I've masked it, I'm going to go to key and drop my key light on there, and then grab my eyedropper and knock out that key color. And now we're starting to look like we've got. So then what I want to do is I want to go into my mask, and in the mask, I want to feather the edges of the mask, maybe adjust the opacity. I can adjust the expansion, and there we go. So the mask is a little cut off on that one corner, so I can bring that in and then feather it a little bit more. And there we go. So that's basically how you can layer effects on top of footage. Let's go back to our project and let's grab the explosion. And drag that down and place that on our composition. And I'm gonna run through it. Let's see how it looks. There's the explosion. Boom, all right? So it's a little cut off on the bottom. I'm gonna put it right here where it kind of matches where the ground is. And then I'm going to stretch it up so that we have something like this. So the edge is cut up on the top, so I'm going to make where it goes off the edge of the screen there like that. And I'm just kind of scrubbing through it and seeing where the animation, where it makes the most sense. And now I'm going to, once again, I'm going to turn on a mask, grab my type tool, my pen tool, and create a mask around it. So I'm trying to find the most, we want a mask. Let's click the mask button. Why isn't it making a mask? Let's see here. Start over and step backwards. Let's put on a mask. We want to be using the mask. So we want to make sure the shape layer is selected. I'm sorry, the shape is selected and not, we don't need a shape layer, we want a mask. Here we go. So we got to make sure that's selected. There we go. Now we're making a mask. Right, before we were creating a shape layer, which is what we wanted. Now, we'll grab our key light, drop it on, knock out the background, and I'm going to close this and open this up and look at the mask. And I want to feather the edges of the mask here, like that. And I can adjust the opacity, I can adjust the expansion of the mask. I think I want to narrow it down a little bit. Maybe adjust the opacity down just a little bit. And now we've got an explosion coming down from there. So we've got some fire, some explosions, and that's basically how you layer in special effects on footage, right? And I can rotate that to make it go down to transform, and maybe rotate it a little bit to make it look a little bit more natural. Scale it up a little more. And let's see how that looks. And that's how you layer in special effects with a green screen, with a mask, and with the key lighting on top of some footage. All right, let's stop there.